Hi, and welcome to Lesson 3, The Age of Enlightenment, in Field 5, History of the English Language and Literature, in the course English 6. Introduction. The Age of Enlightenment was a period between the late 17th century to the late 18th century or early 19th century. It was a period of scientific, political, and philosophical ways of thinking. This was a period of huge change in thought and reason, and was decisive in the making of modernity. The ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome were revered by enlightened thinkers. It was seen as a potential model for how modern society should be organized. John Locke and his book The Two Treatises of Government was published in 1689. It was a book talking about the separation of church and state, religious tolerance, the right to property ownership, and the obligation of states to recognize the innate rights of the citizens. Locke meant that human consciousness and reason were the gateways to a working state, and it demolished the notion that human knowledge was pre-programmed and mystical. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a French philosopher, and he argued that humans were born free and rational. He also argued that true political sovereignty always remained in the hands of the people if the rule of law was properly maintained by a democratically elected government. The view on religion. Religion and personal faith were also subjects to the tides of reason evident during the 18th century. Personal judgments and matters of belief were actively debated during the period, leading to skepticism, if not even atheism, among an enlightened elite. These new views on religion led to increasing fears among the clergy that the Enlightenment was ungodly and thus harmful to the moral well-being of an increasingly secular society. With church attendance in steady decline throughout the 1700s, evidence of increasing agnosticism, which is the belief that true knowledge of God could never be fully gained, and a rejection of some scriptural teachings was close at hand. New personal freedoms within the orbit of faith were extended to the relationship between the church and state. In England, the recognition of dissenting religions was formalized by legislation, such as the 1689 Act of Toleration, which permitted freedom of worship to nonconformists. Jonathan Swift was one of the most famous authors of the Enlightened period. He was born on November 30th, 1667 in Dublin, and he died on October 19th, 1749 in Dublin. He was an Anglo-Irish author who was the foremost prose satirist in the English language. Besides the celebrated novel Gulliver's Travels from 1726, he wrote such shorter works as A Tale of a Tub in 1704 and A Modest Proposal in 1729. Jonathan Swift's work, A Modest Proposal. The background was that Ireland at the time was extremely poor and suffered from an immense overpopulation. It was ruled by the British Crown, which was not interested in helping the Irish. Swift's essay, A Modest Proposal, is a satirical work describing how the Irish people should eat their own children. This is said not only to still their hunger, but also to decrease the amount of mouths to feed. And that was everything for today's lecture. I hope to see you next time. Bye!